Right now, we have 3,300 municipal pension plans in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 25% of those are in some type of distress, which is slightly up from what we saw a few years ago. One of the things that the fiduciaries, the people responsible for the pension plans, have to do is that they have to stay vigilant. Make sure that they put in the required contributions annually. Make sure that they have the proper investments, because when people retire, they expect their pension plans to be there for the rest of their lives. These municipal pension plans are for people working in government, our firefighters, our EMTs, people running into danger as we're running away from danger. And it's important that their pension plans be there when they decide to retire. It's pretty much the same, and which of course isn't bad, but it's not good. I mean, one of the things that we wanted to see that number decrease. While it hasn't increased and hasn't decreased, it's leveled off, but we would like to see that below double digits. People have saved their entire life for one thing. Eventually they want to retire. They want to retire to either to do nothing, start a new career, be a full-time grandparent, to travel. And when they retire, they expect the money that they put in there to be there once they retire. And that is the responsibility of the fiduciaries who oversee the municipal pension plans. Well, a couple of things can happen. One, the benefits that you thought that were going to be there once you retired aren't going to be there. And they're going to be a lot smaller than what you initially anticipated, which means that you're going to have to make some lifestyle changes. Number two is that whatever municipality you're in may have to raise taxes in order to cover those losses.
What I'm seeing is that there are more fiduciaries coming on that are a little more engaged. I think they're becoming asking questions more at meetings. I know at one time, a lot of times, the consultant would come in and do their report and there'd be no questions. And I think they're starting to understand there's a responsibility that goes with this, because there are people depending on the retirement fund someday when they retire. I think the more they get engaged, the more they'll be able to understand what they're to do and what their responsibility is to maintain the fund for the people either already retired or future retirees. One of the resources is something like papers, where we have a twice a year forum. They can have things where they can have their actuary come in and explain the valuation report. Is a good tool, because a lot of times people don't understand everything that's in the valuation report, other than this is what the mandatory annual contribution is, that kind of thing. There are things online, some of the vendors we have here. It's just, there's a lot of sources. Ask your fund consultant to come in and talk. They have resources that they can do. I think it's just, and pay attention to what's going on out in the world right now. Necessarily, maybe it's not going to affect you directly, but the way the market trends are, it's something to know that may have an effect when the consultant comes in and gives your next report. As the Auditor General said, there are some that are in distress. I think a lot of times they need to understand that if your actuary says you need to make an annual contribution to keep the fund going, you really need to do that. If you don't, you get behind. That's when you start getting into stress, and I know it means tax money because it comes from general fund, but people are depending on that money, and as fund fiduciaries, I personally don't want to get sued because somebody doesn't have money somewhere down the line. And papers is a good opportunity. Day and a half in the spring and in the fall, and you get a lot of topics and a lot of good information.